Montesinos, and she'll be joining me for an hour of spiritual astrology. That'll be looking fabulous. Now, in approximately a minute's time, we're going to do a live. We're going to do a minute silence. A minute silence for the Remembrance Sunday, Remembrance Day for the 11th of November. So, guys, if you'd like to join me, by all means do, and that would be great. And then after that, we'll start the show. Right at the very end of the show, we're also going to do a minute silence as well for everybody in the UK and everybody out here in Spain. Hence, we're doing this an hour in advance. So we're just coming up to the last minute here. We're going to do the silence, and hence we got the poppies here. Yes, okay. So, yes, just time to remember everybody who's fought in wars, lost their lives in wars, and made our lives free. This is a minute silence now. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining me. Let's go on with the show. This is Cafe Clairvoyance. This is Wednesday, the 11th of November. I'm Phil Griggs, your host, Cafe Clairvoyance. If you've never been on the show before, a big, warm welcome to you. And today we're going to discuss all this goes on with astrology out there, the current ethos, and also a little bit about the First World and the Second World War. What started this off astrologically? So we'll be doing that in just a second. In the meantime, though, I think we need a bit of this. Hello, very good morning to you. I hope you're well. If you're over the other side of the world, good evening. And if you're over the other side of the world, you're probably still fast asleep. Anyway, so there you go. Good day to you. And I hope your day is going fine so far. And very good morning to Sally. Very good morning to Nikki, to Debs, to Sally, to Nikki, and to Deborah. Yes, and the producer. Yes, let's do a little bit of this, Phil, when you guys are. Yes. Now, how are you? Have you had a great week so far? How's your midweek going? Is it full of buzziness? Is it full of all sorts here? But we'll discuss this shortly. In the meantime, though, I think we need to slowly introduce and pop down the road to my wonderful friend there, Guiomar. She'll be coming on in just a second. Just to also highlight you guys here, as of you'll notice that there's going to be no more Sunday show. You're going, oh no more Sunday show? Yes, no more Sunday show. However, we're going to be putting on extra shows during the week. There's going to be a Tuesday morning show as much as a Tuesday evening show. There's also going to be a Friday evening show. Yes, so all details of that will be coming up shortly. And we've also got wonderful people come on the show from all over the world, which is, it sounds a bit brazen to say that, but actually they are. And it's wonderful to connect with people. So, yes, Jay says, morning, Phil, Deborah, and Guiomar. Very nice to see you too. Okay, I think it's time to pop down that little old road and go and say hello to Guiomar. Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Lovely to see you. You look fabulous. But every show, you look younger and I get older. Yeah. Something's going on here. Even the makeup doesn't work. Oh dear, never mind. So, how's life down your neck of the woods?
It's good. It's pretty good.
Wonderful.
I'm really enjoying this year. It's a big transformational year, and I kind of got used to transformation in my life. So transformation and change is my middle name practically.
I think,
And
yes.
it rocks your world. But once you get used to transformation and change, it's almost like, oh, it's like you're eager for the new to come in, that you don't know where you're going, but it's new and it's always better.
It's a funny thing, isn't it? Because it actually feels, I agree with you, this transition, this change, I was like, wow, it's all so different. But what's coming in next? And yet I feel whatever it is, it's going to be quite exciting.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's a whole new way of relating to each other and to the world.
Yeah.
Much more organic. And by organic, I mean even the way we connect with others, because we can connect with people in a true organic fashion, as like understanding my emotions, your emotions, when to come near, when to separate, or when to say this, when to say that. If we have a deeper understanding and knowledge of emotions, then we can really connect with others in a much deeper way, in a more creative way too. So I think we're going towards that.
I think so too. I love that word creative. I love that word organic, because it comes. Oh dear. Okay, right. It comes away from those old ways of being industrialized. I look at it as being, the old way was industrialized, the way we had to try and perform and be in many ways unnatural, not ourselves.
Exactly. And I'll just give one example. So this concept really sinks in, because this is the key, really. So imagine, so like I was born in 66, and back in the 60s, it was normal. Like when a mom had a baby, the doctors said that, the idea was that moms had no idea how to raise a baby or what to do with a baby. They were absolutely ignorant, which is kind of weird if you think about it, because like we've been having babies for thousands of years, or who knows, millions, whatever. It's like a natural thing. So suddenly it wasn't natural to have babies. And this wasn't only the 60s, obviously. It's been going on for the whole century
Yeah.
almost. But so you get a gist of this. So basically, this man with a white robe
Yes.
said,
Yes. White cloak. Yep.
White Cloak told you how you were supposed to nurture your baby, when to feed it, when to take care of it, and all this stuff, right? So what happened is that they standardized the way, like you were supposed to feed your child every 3 hours, blah blah blah. So what happens with that? That the truth is, every child is different, and what should happen is that child and mother should create a very very close bond, in the sense that they should be practically, or without practically, symbiotic for the first 2 years of the child's life. Ideally, the mom should take the child with her all the time for the first 2 years. This obviously
Yeah.
doesn't happen
Yeah.
in fertilization. Not only that, but you're supposed to not know what the baby wants. You're supposed to not have the intuition. So you're all the time disconnected from the baby. Also, that's also part of our own inherited trauma. But the result is that we don't take care, we don't acknowledge each baby's rhythms. So maybe one baby needs to eat all the time, maybe another baby needs to eat a little bit less. But the only way to know that is the mom's bond with the baby. So this means that we've all been raised, brought up in a rhythm that was set by somebody, normally a man.
I like that. Man.
Not that I have anything against guys, I really don't. But the thing is that you guys haven't born babies. It's like, how do you know? It's like having a gynecologist. It's like,
Mm.
anyway.
It's funny you say that. I wrote a thing at school. They asked us to write a topic about controversy when I was at school. I think I was in about my 4th year, and I had to write an English thing. And I won a prize in it. I remember winning a prize in it because there used to be this advert on television, and it shows my age, and hopefully loads of you people out there will remember this. But they used to have in England called the Cross Your Heart bra. Cross Your Heart bra, which is the way the pattern was. And this doctor, or man in a white cloak, as you're saying there, with all this equipment around his, stethoscopes, pens, watches, I don't know, scalpels, whatever, was standing there saying, "We know more about bras than you do." and there's this man standing there, and I thought, but that is so sexist. I mean, in those days, it is so sexist. It is like the introduction to say, the Cross Your Heart bra. We know more about bras than what you do. Hang on a minute, you're a man. What are you dressed? Do you dress up? And I wrote a thesis about this, and I actually won a prize because they laughed about it. Because in those, and everybody used to think we know more about bras than you, these designers, and then also, but it should be a woman standing there saying we know more about bras than you do, ladies, and we're here to help you.
Exactly. And the truth is that like bras were invented by men, and the result is that they are very uncomfortable and normally very painful, and they really like they hurt. At least I can't wear them normal. I can't wear the normal ones because it hurts my diaphragm. It cuts my breathing. It splits me in two. It separates me from my feeling nature, and for me it's too much. Too much pressure here, and the thing is. I think all this is changing, especially from lockdown. I don't know how many girls out there, those who are here, how many girls have decided during lockdown to just drop the bra? You know, it's like this is the braless revolution because it's not natural, as is not natural telling a
I think so too. We just froze a little bit. His internet somewhere. Somebody's got a bit funny, but I'll come back on in a minute. But anyway, this is Jay says, yep. That's a great explanation there. Sally says, yep. We got a yup and a yep. Any other why verbs we could think of? Yup, yap, perhaps. How about yib? What's one of them? Anyway, so there we go. Anyway, so I'm sure she will come back on in just a minute. I'm going to just go solo just for a second, and we're going to talk about this in just a minute. Okay, I'm sure Guiomar will come back on a second. She'll bring back in. Okay, right. So this morning's show, we're going to be talking, because it's Remembrance Day, we're actually going to look at this and work to see how what happened in the First World War and the Second World War, and what starts off wars like this, and how we can learn by history how to see the future. Now, the interesting thing here is the two planets which are mainly, or the three planets which are mainly involved here are Saturn, Pluto, and Mars. Now, when you go back to the First World War, yep, they were there. That's where they were. Saturn, Pluto, and Mars were very strong in the chart, making squares, conjunctions, and difficult angles to one another. Exactly the same with the Second World War. And here we go. We're getting Guiomar back. Hello. It went a bit wonky woo there. I don't quite know what happened. Anyway, we just started talking there. Changed the subject completely. Went on to the First World and Second World War. Just before we go on to that, just to come back here to about bras. I'm sure there's going to be a great invention soon where something like lifts them up, even if it's like balloons that hang in the air with string on, and lifts them up that way. It's far more comfortable than wearing bras.
No, but the thing is that they say you don't have I mean, if you don't wear them, your muscles will do the lifting up for you. So, I mean, it's all ridiculous. It's like what I was saying about babies. By not being able to, since the mothers did not learn to adapt to the baby's rhythms, that means all of us are out of our own rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
think ourselves, which is kind of serious if you think about it. In this sense, lockdown really helped us to start to regain some of that sinking in with ourselves, because it's incredible, because if you like wake up and you run to eat breakfast, and then you run to commute, and then you run to take the children or to do the school runs or whatever, what's going on there? You're all the time running and you're out of yourself. You're not in yourself. So how can you be coherent? You can't. So how can you be happy? You can't.
Not allowed to be.
No. So being in your own rhythm is what allows you to connect with your heart and to really know what you want in life, and to be able to synchronize with the magic of life.
I love that. It's to really adjust to ourselves. Maybe it's actually saying in our lives now, we need to get that creative, that rhythm, and more musical in our own minds there. I mean, Deborah goes mad at me because I'm quite happy walking around singing, humming tunes. And she goes, will you shut up? I said, no, I'm quite happy singing my little tune. But I go around
Yeah.
doing my do. She says, shut up. But if you've got a tune that you like doing, then you're resonating in your little old day and you're having a funny time.
But exactly, and that's like that for with everything. Like, for example, you can sleep when you want to, eat when you feel like it, and it's all these things. Looking rest when you need it. Look for your own rhythm. Try to connect with your own rhythm, and this links in to the subject of today, which are the world wars.
Yes. So we can
Because
get back to, yes. Well, it's
the
just,
reason why the wars were created with these aspects that we're going to talk about, it's because people were not in their own rhythm. So remember, before the wars is Victorian times,
yep.
the end of the 19th century, so
Yes.
in beginning of the 20th, very, very, very rigid way of seeing life. Everything was like so much, the image that you had to portray, everybody was very stiff, everything should be a certain way. So all that rigidity was the result of the standardization of the Industrial Revolution, which is end of 18th century.
Yes. It's interesting to say the word rigid, because even the clothes people were wearing, especially women, they're wearing those corsets and those
Yes.
things that used to look like squeezed in like this. I mean,
And that's
you don't even make funny noises.
bra.
You'd end up exploding.
That's the precursor of the bra.
Yes.
So you see, everything is linked in. It's not a coincidence what we're talking about, and we're not just talking about babies in bras just because. It's all part of the same thing. So that constriction of the Victorian times, not being able to breathe, and separation, it's extreme separation from your sensitive nature.
Yep.
Okay, that's the precursor to the world wars. So
Yeah.
if that didn't happen, the Pluto Saturn and Pluto Jupiter combinations that we're going to talk about would have probably not resulted in the cataclysmic wars like the Russian Revolution, First World War, Second World War, Vietnam War, and the Cold War.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I get that. It's interesting. Mars was always involved as well, wasn't it? Mars has always got to have a link somewhere when you got Saturn, Pluto, Pluto mainly, isn't it? Pluto being the planet of war, but so you need the others to stir it up as well.
Yes, but I mean, Mars is like the escape valve.
Yes.
So Mars just brings out that energy in some way, which is a good thing. So does Uranus.
Yes. Yeah, they both have very similarities. It's interesting, isn't it? The planets that have the similarities, how they can relate and understand to each other. It's it's good, isn't it? Brilliant. Some have got the more personal, and some are more not so personal. You get the personal planets such as Mercury and Venus, and then you get Neptune, which is an outer vibration, a higher vibration of Venus. Yes.
But the thing is, the Industrial Revolution is when the outer planets are starting to, we're starting to be aware of the energy of the outer planets.
Yep.
So when Uranus is discovered, it's the same age as the Industrial Revolution, more or less the American Revolution, or the funding of America.
Yes, I think it was around that time as well. Yes.
And the French Revolution. So it's all about, like, that's when we start being aware of a collective social, which is Uranus, social. Like, it's not just about us. So we're starting to be more aware of the collective and of the need to unite the collective, right? And then when Neptune was discovered was like, I believe it was end of middle or 1760s or so.
I think it was. Yes. I think it was.
18 something. Anyway, when Freud came out with the psychoanalysis. And Neptune is all about the collective feeling consciousness.
And it's interesting because around that time, when you had an issue, around that time, the start of the 20th century, we're in that Victorian time, if women, especially if they had an issue, it was opium was the way to deal with it. Take this, it'll calm you down. Did something, it doesn't calm you down.
Yeah. Which is crazy, which is basically we were just getting more and more uptight, more pressure building up inside, and the only response that was given was like, oh, this is wrong, this is weird, numb yourself down. And of course, men's rigidity was even greater than what women had to go through, but they projected that onto the women. So that's why the women were like the mini escape valves in the families.
Yes, and you had that discipline, that old um, schoolmaster rigidity with the men in that particular times, over disciplined. Oh dear, it's almost yes.
It was horrible. It was like so much pent up energy just building up and building up, and every now and then blaming it on women and numbing them, and and then the suffragettes came about, and then that's when women started rebelling against that, and then men had to own that energy back.
Yes, that was it. Yes, that was. I saw a great film about that about 3 or 4 years ago, and I think that was a brilliant film. The turning of women taking back their power, fantastic. Yes, yes.
Yes.
It's interesting. And he says, "I had gas in air when I gave birth." That's a bit of a Mars thing going on there. I'm trying to think where that relates in, Eleni. We're talking.
It's Mars Neptune. It's
Mars Neptune. Yes.
And a bit of Scorpio in there.
Yeah. I think so too. Was there opium as well, by any chance? Was there opium around that time? That would have numbed you down a bit. Hi, man, I'm giving birth. Anyway, right. So, yes, interesting. Yes. Sorry, yeah. So I just completely blow me there as I guess I know over there when I gave birth. Brilliant, Eleni. Classic. We love you. Anyway, so yes, we're going through these transiting times.
Yeah, so the energy was building up, so women said, okay, no, we're not going to take all this shit from you guys. It's not all our faults, they didn't do that consciously. What they did was they basically just started rebelling against the pressure, right? And then keep in mind also Pluto was discovered around 1930 something.
Yes, 1936, I think it was. Yes.
Yeah, it was like it's when they discovered when they created the first atomic bomb.
Yes, because Pluto associates to uranium, doesn't it? Yeah.
So it's Pluto's about that power, the power that can obliviate is the word.
Yes, obliterate. Yes,
obliterate absolutely everything. So anyway, women said, okay, we don't want this pressure, take it back. And that just, all that pressure started building up more and more and more in men. When I say men, let's look at it archetypically as how it affected us.
Yes.
It's also like the male part of every woman and so forth. So all that pent up energy, when Pluto went into Cancer, it really started getting like the insecurity that was being
brought out. Yes, they've been brought out, experiencing how people experience this. Like, what do we do with this? Yes.
Yes, it was creating huge insecurity, and that, of course, when Pluto went, that insecurity, that's when the First World War happened and the Russian Revolution. Pluto in Cancer.
Yeah.
And then Pluto in Leo is when the Second World War happened, which is basically, it's not so much about insecurity and these are my frontiers and that's mine, this is yours. It's more about this is who I am, this is what I want to put forward. It's like
yes, it's interesting you say that, because Pluto in Leo, if you imagine like the person there likes to exude their power, you look at like the German uniforms around that time, they were like pretty snazzy. They're one of the best uniforms going. I think it's almost like fashionable, if I could say that. But it's interesting to say about that, because Leo is very much that expressive person, isn't it? We got these new guns, we got these new tanks, got these new planes.
And that was Hitler, here I am, I'm the best, and we are the best, and all this stuff, and very flashy, very showy propaganda.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
The propaganda coincides more or less 1930. I think. First World War is 1939, right? Yeah.
No, First World War was 1914. First World War 1914. Second World War was 1939. Well, it started a bit earlier, I think. I think it's going on about, it probably started, the energy around it was about 36, 37.
Yes. Which is coinciding with the Spanish Civil War.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And then in 1939, what happens also is Pluto and Neptune start getting close to each other. and start forming a sextile.
Yes.
And this sextile between Pluto and Neptune, because Pluto, even though it's like twice as far as Neptune, it's a very erratic orbit. So for 100 years, it goes at this. It's running at the same distance from the Sun as Neptune, which means
Okay.
they are traveling in parallel for 100 years.
That's a long time.
It's a long time. So I've mentioned this before in another program, but this is creating like a backdrop of Neptune-Pluto issues, which is Pluto power, Neptune, imagination, image, spirituality. So one of the low versions is the power of media to manipulate, hence Goebbels.
Ah, yes, yes.
Goebbels and his propaganda manifestos, which are the base of Hitler's manipulation of society in the Second World War, being able to convince all the Germans, or not all the Germans, but like the society
The
as a whole.
majority of the German. Yes. Yeah.
And also that sets the base for the manipulation of the media from then onward, and also politicians. Because
Lovely.
Goebbels' principles are what politicians use to manipulate opinions, basically, and to manipulate the media.
Now, that's the interesting thing, because the big thing that's going on now, isn't it? Although the government's saying one thing and media's really taking on board what the government's saying, it's interesting that they've got their points of view. But we will also agree that this particular time, people are now coming up with their own points of view. They're taking on their own thoughts, their own belief systems, and just going, okay, that's out there, but this is how I am. This is how I want to respond to it, rather than being drawn along with it like a river being taken down. You've got to follow this, and but it's interesting, isn't it? Because I talking to other people. People want to form their own beliefs, their own systems, their own. As I think the great word we've been using on here for a little while is the word sovereignty.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. But this, if you realize, so often when people analyze what's going on this year with the triple conjunction of Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn, when before these planets combined have caused wars, it's like, oh my God, where are we going? Yeah, but look at the backdrops. Look at what's behind that. Look what's happened in between. So, for example, in the late 80s, right?
Yep.
When the Berlin Wall falls.
Yes. Yes.
There's in Capricorn, I think it's Neptune and Uranus are conjunct in Capricorn.
Yes. Neptune and Uranus. Yes.
Neptune and Uranus, it's like new ideas. Uranus rules Aquarius. It's also like new ideas that spread, that are created in a network type mesh.
Yes.
For example. So that's when we have Tim Berners-Lee creating internet, the HTTP protocol, and him saying this is for everyone.
Yes, but it was initially for the military, though, wasn't it?
It was. Yes. But he created it for everyone. I don't know if you remember the Olympics celebrated in London. I can't remember when it was, like this within this century. The Olympics in London. In the show, the inaugurational show, which is really nice, no? There's a point where they do like a homage to the Beatles and all that stuff, and right around that, I think it was right before, right after, Tim Berners-Lee comes out, the creator of the Internet Protocol, and I think for me it was so moving, because for me, this guy, like, I've seen his chart, he's an angel. He's an angel here to protect, to create that backdrop. The fact is, he's still working in protecting the internet, so it's free for all. And in the show, in the Olympics, he comes up with a computer and he says, "This is for everyone."
Brilliant. Okay. It's lovely. Yes, I remember that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So what that does is that it creates a possibility for individuals to connect with information at every level, personal, individual information, because Neptune Uranus, Tesla has a Neptune Uranus combination. It's like, it's what allows him to be such a genius, to receive information from the future. But it's also an individual way of thinking.
What's
Neptune, Uranus.
Einstein, because he must have, because he talks a little bit about this. That and a lot of people say that these people, it's not what they think, it's what they draw in here. And
Yeah,
it's interesting. Eleni says the Olympics was 2012, which numerology, this is number 5. Fives are great energy times to just be out there and create something new.
yeah, yeah. So Einstein is the Pisces with a Cancer rising.
Einstein is a Pisces with a Cancer rising. Okay.
Yeah, and I think he had something in Aries, like some outer planets in Aries. I think I
Yes.
remember. I have
Yes,
a strange memory.
I just wonders if there was what Uranus was doing to be able to, or what Neptune was doing to be able to bring that information in. Because he always said, some of the ways he says, to understand a person, you've got to look around the person because you got to sense the aura. He was very spiritual in his way, the way he was talking. It wasn't
Yeah,
just
yeah,
about the mathematics.
yeah. But that's also that it's the Pisces energy in the ninth house. So Pisces ninth house.
But that's a lot of
And
learning, isn't it?
if I remember well, because I think it was more or less up there. And then he had something else in the tenth house also. And the Cancer energy, when it's brought to a higher level, it also allows you to have a broad universal understanding of things.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think that is it is. I think if you got that, so I think when we come up with an idea, and the world is created by ideas, so it's not mental. It's something that comes by inspiration, subconscious, or in all, and it's so all things that are created, whether it's glasses or something like that, is an idea. An
Yeah.
idea is how we can channel that. And even in our world now, what do you want to channel in your world with this? Although we're going through changing times, so this incredible auspicious time to
Yes.
create the world you want.
So going back to the wars, so the tension that was created by Pluto and the combinations with Saturn and or Jupiter, because World War II starts when Pluto goes into Leo, so it's all about the ego. So that really makes the polarization, because Pluto is a planet that manifests. I mean, all Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, the three manifest in a polarized fashion, because it's very difficult for us to really incarnate, but especially Pluto, because it's a very powerful energy.
Mm.
Combined with Leo, it's like, here I am, this is me. So from then onward, that's when we get that, like Donald Trump, George Bush Jr., Bill Clinton, they're all from 1946, which is the Pluto Leo generation. I mean,
Yes.
it's the Pluto Leo has been there for longer, but they're all Pluto Leos. So it's all about me, my idea. I think things this way and this is that way, and so forth. I find very interesting that politicians have just leaped a couple generations, and now the politicians coming in now either are the Pluto Leo generation or the Pluto Libra generation. Like the Pluto Libra generation has to really figure out how to work with others, how to relate with others.
And also because there's a greater separation now, I think, personally, I think here between what the politicians are saying and where the people are. I think there's a bigger divide, as they've got to make this bridge. Like, hey, hang on a minute, we've lost the touch,
Yeah.
and they now got to bring in this. We've got to bring people back together. But
Exactly. It's
yes,
Pluto Libra who have to start doing that.
yeah,
But then at the same time, like I was saying, so with this backdrop where the media, Goebbels starts creating all the, like, for example, a lie repeated 3 times becomes a truth,
uh
is one
huh,
of the things that he said. So, for example, if you repeat whatever, you repeat and repeat it through the media, people end up believing it, and not only believing it, but actually creating it.
absolutely, yes.
Created by us collectively by listening and accepting what external sources are telling us. But at the same time, Pluto basically says, like, repeat until you realize that this doesn't make sense anymore. So you can repeat, like the media manipulation and political manipulation, until people just get exhausted from it.
Yeah,
And that allows us to empower ourselves spiritually, Pluto, Neptune at a higher vibration. Remember, this is
yes.
the year of Pluto, Neptune from I think it's 1939 or 1940 to 2039 or 40. So
That's
more or less,
interesting.
no?
Yes. because that's what we've got now, isn't it? We've got that link between is Neptune and Jupiter. That
Yeah.
link was, and also it's still Neptune, Pluto now. So this is a transformation to get more spiritual, get within ourselves, rather than following a regime which is you're being told to. This one here is encouraging to you. How would you like? What is it you
Yeah.
want?
But then let's go back to the 60s, because as you can see, this narrative, you have to go back and forth all the time, because if not, it's really not so easy to understand. So what happens in the 60s? So the energy that was sort of like blew up a bit in World War II, and I say only a bit, a little bit in one and then a little bit in two. Again, it started, it was like, okay, this was really bad. Let's just, pretend it didn't happen, right? Let's be more, the welfare being state appeared as a consequence of the Second World War. So then it was like, we have to think about everybody in the world, which is a good thing, because dispersing the energy all over the place is the best way to balance that out. So that dispersion of energy through the state, the welfare states, through helping other people, not always help, but anyway, what that created the base of the network necessary for the global commerce we have today.
Yes, yes.
So that dispersion of energy is very Aquarian. But still, there was a lot of things that weren't dispersed. The city walls were still there. The country's limits were still there. And what happened? The female energy. Remember the suffragettes? The suffragettes.
Yeah, suffragettes. Yes.
That they when after the Second World War, women started working more, and that brought in more independence of them. They realized, hey, we don't have to be so dependent on what men want and what men need, right? So that started destabilizing the simplest of social structures, which were families. So then divorce appeared.
Yes, it did,
Right?
and it's
Yeah.
like the world.
Yeah, sorry,
Is
that was more or less the 50s. In the
yes,
50s, were another type of Victorian age.
yeah, it
If
was,
you
wasn't it?
like also very corseted women, the hairs, the kitchen, everything clean, the shoes for the hubby, and together with a newspaper.
And the hair was amazing at that time. It's like you saw the different hairstyles come in around that time, whether it was the swan, whether it was the DA, all the different hairstyles that come into fashion around that time. But also, I think around that time, more so than any other time, it's like science, technology, and innovations and creations sped up enormously through this particular time than any other. It's gone mad.
Fueled by that same Aquarian energy.
Yeah.
So you have in the 60s, hippies come in, as it's like the Vietnam War, which is pretty a rough war, but then the hippies come in, and there's even more divorces. And like in the United States, it spreads. Here in Spain, for example, it arrives much, much later. But still, that the damage is done, and that starts percolating through the ages. And then you get the 70s, where you get the people that have to reinvent, Pluto and Libra generation, reinvent the way we relate to each other. And then in 1989, Neptune-Uranus combination in Capricorn, which is saying, okay, let's put new information in to Capricorn, the social structures materialized via internet. Okay, and this is more or less, I think it was in 1989, probably towards the end of Capricorn. I'm not very sure, but these are the degrees where the Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter combination are going through. So what are they going through? They're going through a place that has already been inseminated by Neptune Uranus, has already been inseminated by a very Aquarian energy that is allowing all this heavy Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn are like judges, but they're already connected to the internet. Their energy is already spreading out and going global.
I think I think it's amazing. It is, isn't it?
And together with Neptune in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces is there like for a long all this century so far. I can't remember when it went in, but it's only like a little bit more than halfway through, because Neptune takes a long time to go through.
It does. It goes on
like
for
40 years, I think it is, right? So Neptune in Pisces is so spiritual. And remember, Neptune, Pluto, the power of spirituality. Right now, spiritual is winning. So there's a power of spirituality with versus the power of media. So we don't believe the power of media so much because the power of spirituality is very, very strong with Neptune and Pluto. Plus the three judges in Capricorn bringing down social structures, but percolating that through the internet and the connection to the individuality, which that symbolizes, the Neptune Pluto, the Neptune Pisces, and the Neptune Uranus in Capricorn, all talking about individuality. Plus, so if this weren't enough, plus when we start this year, Uranus just has been for 7 years. Well, a bit before this year, Uranus went into Taurus. I think it was 2 years ago the first time, and then definitely last. So before that, it was in Aries, saying, "Okay, who are you? What do you really want to do?" So from 2011, 2012, it was all about, me. What do I want? What do I want? Then it goes into Taurus. It's okay. That what you want, bring it down, make it real. Do something with it.
Create it. Become more creative, which is Taurus. Yes.
Exactly. And it's also very good for anything that is based on internet, of creating more technology. And then we start the 2020 with Lilith in air going into Aries, which is another aspect of individuation. And it gets together with Chiron, who says, I'm hurt because I couldn't be me. And at the same time, Chiron is the connection to the soul, saying, yeah, but you got to be you. It's your connection. You're here to be you, even though it hurts. So let's finish breaking all those structures, mental structures, social structures that are now not allowing you to be you. So this is a great year for individuation, for really letting go of those patterns for each sign that are the cage, the soul cage, that are not allowing us to really connect with us. So even with all this energy that has created wars in the past, it's not pent up as it was before, and it's not polarized as it was before. That's the big difference.
Do you know what? This is such an interesting discussion that I'm probably, like many other people, going to have to go back. I'm going to have to watch this again. Because the information and the structures, I understand it. It's so much that's going on now. But the big thing I think people are going to take on board, that I think at the moment, is it's brilliant and you're at your best. And to accept it and own it is good to be you.
Owning your superpowers. So
owning your superpowers, yeah.
I haven't prepared this, Phil. I just looked at two things: Pluto in Cancer, Pluto in Leo. I haven't prepared anything else.
It's brilliant. Love it.
Anyway, I'm not finished.
All right. Sorry. I'm not going to interfere.
So anyway, so this is what's going on. It's all about individuality. So now Pluto, Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter combinations are not about so much about the social structures, which, they're coming down. And it's like, oh yeah, cool, they're coming down. Oh, well, that's a kind of a relief. I wonder what's going to happen, but it doesn't really bother me. It's not that big a deal. And, governments, they can't polarize as much as before because nobody believes them anymore. And it's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, well, you don't care. So they don't have any power now. They're trying to exert more power because, and that's why they try to control so much. And coronavirus is there. It's like a change agent wanting us to change all the structures, and they're interpreting in the old way, which is to, oh no, change, let's control more, right? But doesn't come from a bad place. It comes from like a collective ego place, which is just there, just do your own stuff, forget about it,
Yeah.
Anyway, so Saturn, Pluto, basically Pluto is power, Saturn is limits, but also Pluto is personal power. So it can be inner power or external power. You have your soul, Pluto, and Saturn is limits, but it's also containment. It's also maturity, and it's also consciousness
and learning.
And learning, exactly, and
learning
mastery.
To take on that, yeah.
Exactly. So the low version of Pluto and Saturn is it's about containing power, which you can't contain, so that bursts open and it breaks all the structures. Saturn, it breaks into pieces. So it can be a bomb falling on top of a building, which is an aspect that has happened when bombings have occurred.
Yes.
It can also
Yes.
it's also an aspect that talks about torture.
Yes. Breaking down. Yes. Break down the physical body. Yes.
Exactly. So people who have this aspect, like me, it's very normal to have physical pain, and because it's an aspect that is linked in the collective to torture and to bombing and to destruction. So we want to resist that, but it's just a collective thought that makes us resist that.
That's
Okay. So
absolutely fascinating. Yes.
the higher part is it's the power of Pluto that needs to find a limit, Saturn. It's your soul power that needs to find a limit so you can feel the resistance, which makes you be aware, Saturn, conscious of your actual individual power. So it's a combination of harnessing your own inner soul's power and realizing that if you're finding a limit, it's because you're not focusing it in the right direction, but that you need to find the limit to actually be aware of that power. So the limit serves the purpose of awareness. But
I
once you're
think,
aware,
yes.
read it.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people are probably experiencing, guys, you guys out there, that have you come to a point where you're learning this, you're seeing this, oh my God, I'm going into my own power, but then sometimes scared of it, scared, bit of Saturn stuff here, bit scared, what is this? But then learning to take this on, empower yourself and where to focus it to for your life purpose, where it's going. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So any
Right.
Saturn combination, or Saturn in Scorpio, Saturn in eighth house, Pluto in Capricorn, etc., etc. It's like a battery, it's like all this energy held within, right? So you just need to focus it.
It's a bit like, I think here, it's a bit like you've had the opportunity to own a fantastic, okay, no, like this, you've just got the opportunity to own a fantastic computer. It's fantastic. Great. This is mine. This is me. The next bit is learn how to use it.
Yeah.
Its best of ability.
Exactly. But the thing is, when we're told by doctors how we have to bring babies up, which is the mindset of the 1950s, 60s, and so forth, and since Pluto, Leo, Pluto, Virgo generations, we're told by others how to do things. Then what happens is that you don't own your mind. You're not in control of you, and you're not a channel to the information that comes into you. Thankfully, because of the Pluto Neptune wearing down since the 40s, and because of the Neptune Uranus and Capricorn opening up so more information can come in and
Mm-hmm.
spread through the internet and globally, then we're able to actually disconnect from that social way of that collective way of thinking, that collective mindset. And also thanks to politicians just being so silly and ridiculous, we're not believing in them anymore, and then we believe in us. So it's easier to look another direction, saying, okay, this is where my power is supposed to be projected towards. This is what I'm supposed to create and make real,
And it's
right?
going to be so interesting with you guys out there, with what's happened with us spiritually and collectively, what we're going to create in our lives. It's going to be only one thing: exciting.
And then comes Pluto conjunct Jupiter, which is
Love
what
it.
we have
Love
today.
it. Yeah.
So today we have Pluto conjunct Jupiter,
Yes.
22 degrees, 22 something degrees in Capricorn. And Pluto is power, Jupiter is a magnifying glass. So it's great power. So a great power can be destructive, can be scary, can be
Yes.
cataclysmic if you don't know what to do with it. But remember, there's all this individuation aspects going on with Chiron Uranus, Lilith Uranus combinations, and they've been lots of them going in through Aries, which is also about individuation, together with that spiritual Neptune and Pisces. So that's making it for us very easy to actually connect Chiron
Yeah.
with our soul. So Chiron and Uranus are very good for connecting us with our soul's purpose.
This
And the
is
way
this
we're
the
going to live
magic.
it,
Yes.
the way we're going to live it. So what I invite you guys to do is observe yourself, observe those moments when you feel you're the victim, when you feel, why does this happen to me? Why does nobody recognize or realize this about me? Why is this like this? So when do you feel a victim? When do you feel you can't? When do you feel, because that holds the secret to your superpowers. And all you have to do there is actually say, okay, what is it that I want when I'm a victim? Do I
Hmm.
want attention? So then you have a superpower to give attention to others. So
Yeah.
start using that superpower to pay attention to others. And I mean, I'm just saying the word attention, but it's not that simple. Go a bit deeper in. What does attention mean for you? Or what does recognition mean for you? Or what does collaboration mean for you? I'm giving you a few examples of stuff we've seen with a group
Hmm.
of um, that well, anyway, a group of I've been working with in this subject.
Okay.
So um be more specific instead of just sticking with that word. Is like, what does recognition mean for you? To be able to bring it down and to make it more aware, more conscious. And when you figure it out, give that to people. And when you do that, you will activate your connection with your higher self. And that will empower you a lot, because the surge of energy of your soul, of your higher self manifesting through you, is so great that it just makes you feel really good. And not only that, but you're actually much more in sync with the magic of life. So that's your reward.
Tell you what, I love this. This is lovely. It's the magic of life, the magic of ourselves, and the magic we can create in our lives. Love it. Love it. This is where we're going, guys. Where we're going. Hold on tight to this show. Keep watching it, because this is where the magic is helping you guys to think and get connected. And right, okay, we're going to do a little bit of this and back in a mo. Okay, guys, lovely, lovely, lovely to see you on the show this morning. We're in the last 9 minutes. We've got 3 readings to do, but I don't think we're going to get all 3 done. But please don't worry, guys. If we can't get your reading done today, no worries. We will pass it on to next week's show. Okay, right. Now, a lovely lady, Laura, she wrote in and she wanted to say here, she said, I'm having this odd time, And thank you very much, Guiomar. I'll put that up there. There you go. Loads of hearts, loves, bangs, rockets, strength, hugs and everything, all combined with the energy at the moment. There you go. Hearts, hugs, bangs, crashes, hugs, bang, crash, hug. Be together. I love that. I'll try and find something. I'll put it up there in a minute. Good. Anyway, she said, yeah, phase of waking up at 3 a.m, feeling all like, oh, what's going on? Where's my life going to? And what's she doing this? Now, interestingly, Laura, you're a 358 in numerology. The 3 here, well, you've got this huge ability, I would say, with you to be a connector to people, connector to this energy, sync consciousness. So you're open to things. So would you understand if I said to you that this stuff here I wouldn't worry about? I would actually harness this a little bit like we're talking at the moment. This Jupiter Pluto aspect coming in, this energy of the 3 in your numerology here is awakening you, opening you up, getting you energetic. The 5 here is about to express your freedom, to express, to be radical, if I could say that without being too mad. But it's this ability here to say here, this is what I think, this is where I want to go, and I'm connected with this energy and I want to talk about it. I want to do it. I want to live it. I want to feel the power of it, because it's brilliant. It's a powerful energy. It can make you, I love this, highly unpredictable. But that is also extremely exciting for the people who are around you, because they're going, what are you doing now? This is amazing. What you're doing here, you have a great ability to get people to think outside of this old system and start thinking for themselves and being who they really want to be. This is here, although you're waking up at 3 a.m, it's not the time. It's you who's waking up.
Yeah. Laura is you have Saturn in Scorpio, which is what I was talking about before, the containment of energy. So people that have Saturn in Scorpio have a very can have or need to learn to harness their energy. The thing is, Pluto in Scorpio and South Node in Scorpio say that there's a bit of a tendency. Okay, so wait a minute. Let me start somewhere else. So you have Lilith in Aries, who wants independence, who wants originality, who wants creative expression.
Yeah.
But then you have the Scorpio bits, which are like, on the one hand, you're scared of intimacy, but on the other hand, you're used to it. So it's very easy to fall into dramas because you think you depend on somebody else's permission, power, or whatever. So it's very important for you to empower yourself.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the best way is through your own creative ideas.
I think Laura's got that
So
ability there, that 5 to have that freedom to do that.
you are visionary. Jupiter Uranus is a visionary. And you have very good ideas for collectively, but it's important that you own them, you just respect yourself for them, and don't wait for other people's permission. Just create, just bring it out, just throw it out into the world, those ideas.
Fantastic. I think that's a great move there. And if I looked at your cards here, I go for the middle deck, and I would say here for you, Laura, I'd say I would say here, yes, my goodness, you are going to come into power, job, security around you, and you're going to take yourself out of a difficult situation, difficult place, and put yourself into a powerful place. You're being woken up. Delia says, hello, Delia. Okay, right, okay, let's go. Sorry. Yes.
Just respect your thoughts, Laura. Just respect your thoughts.
Yes. Just
don't let anybody tell you that whatever you think, whatever you imagine is not good. It is. Just respect your thoughts.
Absolutely, I think so too. Right, and just okay. We got just enough time for this. Val, she wanted to know a little bit about her career. Life Path 8 is interesting. The 8's coming up today. We had Laura, who was 358, and
Jupiter Pluto. Great power. It's a very 8 energy.
Yes, it's superpower, isn't it? It's brilliant. She's talking about her career, and she's and her energy here, I think, is absolutely amazing. She's a personal year 3. So this, one of the biggest things I'd say here for you, Val, is especially adapting to the year of 3 with a power of 8. Similar, this is interesting here how connected you are with Laura on this previously. But the 3 is this pinnacle energy at the top of the triangle of 3. Is to draw down, as you were saying here, the ideas, the inspiration, the magic where you want your life to go. And the system that you've been belonging to, where is it you want to put this? Do you want to keep it? Do you want to move it? How is it going to take this, going to empower you the most? I think that would be extraordinary.
I don't know if this pertains to anything, but I mean, and it's like
you probably will do. Well, it comes out somewhere. Don't worry about that. I know when you come out of a conversation like this, it's going to go on for 3/4 of an hour. I don't know if this means anything, but and it goes on.
Yeah. So that was from 1964, so it's not like what I'm thinking of. It, I don't know if it makes any sense, but anyway, the idea I get, it's like it's the sea, the ocean, marine life, marine wildlife, animals. That's the feeling I get. She's a Sag with the Sag rising, because I got the time. Sag with Sag rising. There's the water moon in the 8th house, moon in Cancer in the 8th house. There's a Neptune in Scorpio in the 12th house. There's a Chiron in Pisces in the 3rd house, so it's about communicating too. But it's just so much like I don't know. It's so watery, It's so like I don't know if you're an oceanographer, or if you wanted to be an oceanographer, or if you just like scuba diving and maybe like taking pictures of the wildlife, the marine wildlife. I don't know, but that's the thing I feel. I don't know if that makes sense.
I'll tell you what, I am actually from, she's in the travel industry. She works for one of the largest airlines in the world, and she's yes, she's in the top sector of one of those airlines there. But yes, I can imagine she would absolutely love that. It's interesting what your cards are saying here. It is going to get. It's about you not believing in the system and not connected with the system. Right, in 1 minute's time, folks, in 1 minute's time, we're going to do 1 minute silence for you guys in the UK, just to celebrate, just a Remembrance Sunday. We'll do that in a minute's time. As soon as that comes up there, I'll let you know we're going to 1 minute silence. I'll keep talking until we come up to this, and we'll probably go just a minute later afterwards, just to round things off there. But so I don't have a chance to do everybody's charts who wanted their charts this morning and their readings. But this has been an absolutely extraordinary show of information and time. And I think even before the show, even the past few days, I've been having such an ecliptic time of empowerment through where Cafe Clairvoyance is going, that we just opened up borders to go to more in America, more Australia, and to bring more of a community and to get people more aware of their spirituality. So yes, it's amazing. And we're going. Minute silence now, guys. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very, very much for joining us in the minute silence there. Just to round off with this with Val, it's interesting here with her chart and the energy that you see at the moment. I know you don't work in different types of astrology, but I can actually see a lot of change here coming up, thinking, I've had enough of this now. The old system, I want to go into the new.
Yeah, Sag is a very adventurous combination, ideal for the tourism sector. So I don't know, maybe settling in the Maldives and creating a resort and teaching people, taking people to scuba dive and take pictures and give value to the marine life that way. I don't know. It just feels watery with her. I don't know why.
Okay, good. Val, when you're out there, Guiomar and I and Deborah, the producer, are coming out there to do the show live from your house quite frequently.
Yeah.
Well, what can I say? Guiomar, this has been an extraordinary show for Remembrance Day, to remember those who've fallen during wars and how our freedom is nowadays, to opening up. And it's interesting how we've gone from First World War to the Second World War, a time period again where everybody could have gone into a war. But as you say, the backdrop and thinking about this is so extraordinary that also with this is how we're now, we're not going back into a war. We're going back into ourselves, individuality, expression of our sovereignty, expression of our spirit.
We learned to express all that energy before that was collective and polarized. Now it's individualized, and there's so much diversity in the world because of internet, because of global communication, because of global connections, that it's much easier for us to express that energy out individually. And that's the key, really.
Extraordinary. Oh, what a lovely, lovely show. Can I say here, I'm going to take so much away from this. It was just so interesting and engaging with you there, Guiomar. I think it's absolutely fabulous. So thank you so much for coming on this morning, sharing all your inspiration, your knowledge, and wow, there's quite blown, I think, a lot of us away. I think it's amazing. I think all of us have felt this, but need to put it into words. And I think you did it beautifully. Thank you very much. I'm going to be on Friday evening at 8 o'clock EU time. That's 7 o'clock in the UK. And I'll be interviewing a lovely, lovely lady. She was on the show before. Her name's Alessandra. She's a high-flying business lady who has been down in the rock bottom dumps down in the gutter, has now taken herself right back up to the top, lost it all again, come back down, but gone straight back up to the top again. And she's holding her ground, and her motives, her expression, her power, and her positivity is just awesome. So please join me then. So it's be a very good discussion show. And you've got all the opportunity to ask loads of questions and just get involved. And I'll see you on Friday, guys. It's 8 o'clock EU, 7 o'clock UK, and it'll be around midday-ish, I think, for you guys in America. Okay. I'm going to have a nice cup of coffee now. Let's sit down. And I'll see you soon. See you very soon. Thank you so much for joining us. Big heart and a burger. Heart and a burger. Take care. Bye-bye.